Hi, it's attorney Ben Haynes from the Haynes Law Group. I wanted to get on here and do another vlog regarding surplus funds, and I'd like to get on about once a month, once every 2 months, and just kind of update the public on what's going on in the litigation world of surplus funds. I talk about different things such as what an owner needs to do to claim surplus funds, what happens if there's subordinate lien holders with the updated law, which is in effect July 1st of this year, so that is in effect right now. I also like to talk about cases I see where a homeowner has assigned away its rights to surplus funds to an asset recovery company or a surplus recovery company. And most recently, I think it's important to discuss who is a third-party surplus company representing in the court case. I most recently had a case where an owner had assigned away his rights to surplus funds to a asset recovery company. The surplus recovery company failed to file anything for about 3 months, and then this owner, who had just a difficult time getting a hold of anybody at the asset recovery company's office, ended up hiring me to come in for the case. So I ended up filing a motion with the court, and the third-party company, about a day later, filed a motion with the court claiming that they're entitled because they got an assignment. And it happens quite often where a surplus recovery company, once they have you signed up, they'll sit on the case for a while because it's about volume to them, and they can only charge 12% as a maximum, so beware of anyone who charges more. And they sit on these cases, and they're out there just trying to get more business, and that's from my experience. Now, I want to go on the record in saying that not every asset recovery company is bad. I still think it's a bad idea to ever assign away your rights, and this is why. I had a fight with a third-party company in the court case because the third party files what's called a motion to intervene in the case, which means that the third-party surplus company becomes a party to the case. They don't see, when I'm hired in a foreclosure case or a surplus case, I file what's called a notice of appearance in the court case, and I'm representing the owner's interest in the court case. The third-party company is not. The third-party company files a motion to intervene, and they have a lawyer representing them, not the owner. Now, I've had litigation throughout many cases where a surplus recovery company simply doesn't do anything right, and then an owner wants to hire an attorney to represent them to go get the surplus funds. About 80 to 90% of the time, the surplus company has a big issue with it, and that's the difference between a lawyer and assigning away your rights. A lawyer does two things. One, they represent you, and if you're not happy with what they're doing, you can fire them. They have no say in the matter. When you hire an asset recovery company, they're representing themselves in court, their interest. Attorney represents your best interest. That's the first thing. That's very important. Second, if you want to fire this company, it's different because it's a contract you have with the company. Now, many of these companies' contracts are invalid under Florida statute. It's pretty easy to comb through and see what is required under Florida statute for an assignment to be valid, but it just causes massive headaches. So surplus companies are representing their interest. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I've seen some that do collect funds for people, but I've also seen more problems than good from these companies. They're not lawyers, and they hire a lawyer to represent their interests. So it's very important, in order to avoid any hiccups and to put you in the best situation, and you need to hire a foreclosure surplus lawyer to represent your interests, because that's exactly what a surplus attorney will do. They'll represent your interests, not the company's interests. And it's very important because, for a lot of reasons that I've already kind of gone over. But one, whose interest is your representative acting in? Is it yours or is it the company? And so I wanted to get on here today and kind of update you. I ended up being able to get the funds for the client that hired me because the surplus lawyer, the lawyer for the surplus company, I was able to just rip apart his contract because it was just a mess, because it's very unprofessional. And was able to get the funds for the owner, but it may not happen like that every time. And once you assign away your rights, sometimes you may be stuck. So I hope people find these vlogs and end up hiring, and it's not about hiring me, it's about hiring an attorney. There's a lot of good foreclosure surplus lawyers in the state, and they will put you in the best position possible to collect those funds. So I'm Ben Haynes from Haynes Law Group, and until next time.